Then I'm going to move the agenda along. We are to item 13, administrative reports. We're first going to receive a report from staff. We'll then go to public comment. And how many cards do you have for this item right now?
20.
20. And then the council will deliberate and take action. So at this point, I will turn it over to our city manager to give us an overview of this item.
All right. Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of council. As you remember, 2 weeks ago, May 7th, at the council meeting, both afternoon and evening, there was a large turnout and quite a few people came in to ask that the City of Napa fly the rainbow flag for the month of June in celebration of Pride Month. So I was assigned to look into this, and my first consideration was visibility and security of the flag. So I looked at a variety of areas at City Hall here where the flag could be flown. And starting inside the building, I would say the folding doors at the back. On the outside of that, toward the lobby, we analyzed hanging it at the top of that so that when people came into the lobby, they would be able to see the flag. It could hang horizontally, it would be secure and visible. Another was to hang it on either the north or the south walls of the lobby in there. Again, it's inside, it's visible, it's secure. We also talked about just inside the glass doors or above the glass doors on the School Street side of the building where it would be visible from in front of the building out on the street. It's secure, and we talked about the hanging it horizontally from the facade out just outside the lobby, facing the street so that anybody outside the building could see it. The concern with that one is that somebody could crawl up on the handrail there. They might be able to reach up or jump up and grab the flag and tear it down. We really want this to be a celebration or support of Pride Month. We didn't want it to become a news article about somebody doing something that they shouldn't have done. So that's when I say security, that was what the focus was. So another discussion was the possibility of installing a celebratory flagpole out front, but the time constraints were such that in 3 weeks, we wouldn't have been able to order, install, and get everything in place. So we also looked at the flagpole out in front. Initially, we looked at that and we saw that there were, in the flag code, there's some considerations that should be given, not that the U.S. flag should not conflict with other flags or other objects. So then we had discussed a flagpole similar to a residential flagpole to hang off the front of the building, which would be at an angle. The flag could hang over the walkway. It would be very visible from the street. However, that presented some issues as well with somebody possibly crawling up on the handrail and grabbing the flag down. The flag on the flagpole, initially when we looked at that, there was my initial understanding was there were spacing considerations that needed to be given and to the various flags, and that if those spacing considerations were given, that flag would be too low to the street, that somebody could easily reach up and disrespect the flag in some way. So when I wrote the staff report, I wrote it from the perspective that hanging the flag from a home-style flag holder on the front of City Hall was the best option for visibility and security. However, this weekend, after doing a lot deeper research into this, what I found is that our initial belief regarding the conflict doesn't necessarily hold true. So I would like to change my recommendation to reflect that if directed by council, I would hang the rainbow flag from the flagpole in front of City Hall. So would you like the recommendation at this point, or do you want to discuss it first?
Is there anything in there that we'll need, or those speakers that come up will want to know?
It is to adopt a resolution commemorating June 2019 as Pride Month and authorizing the city manager to display the rainbow flag at City Hall in celebration of Pride Month.
All right.
So,
So, that's the, good job, Carol, back there. All right. There's a little flag waving in the back. I think there'll be a lot before the evening's over. We're going to now listen to the speakers.
Okay, I'll call 5 at a time. Ann Sakawi Hemstreet, Beth Nelson, Mika Shiner, Bailey, and Kara May Woolidge. And I apologize in advance for any mispronunciations.
You did a great job with Sakawi Hemstreet. Thank you. My name is Ann Sakawi Hemstreet. Thank you, Mayor Teckel, City Council members, and City Manager Steve Potter for listening to our comments and working with us to increase the visibility of your support for the LGBTQ community in Napa by flying the rainbow flag at City Hall for Pride Month. In a recent Napa County strategic planning meeting, LGBTQ individuals and families voiced that they want visibility and to feel safe in their communities, schools, and workplace. Make no mistake, visibility and safety are linked. Some of us choose to be invisible for fear of being harassed or assaulted. Some of us choose to keep our relationship status or sexual orientation invisible because it's easier than the heartache or the trauma of losing family and friends or your job or home. And yet visibility is also what has shifted the thinking of the majority of our country, state, and city. Because we come out to our loved ones and in the community, because there are more out public figures and LGBTQ characters in movies, because there are allies that proudly talk about their LGBTQ friends and family, we've seen an incredible shift towards acceptance of the LGBTQ community. But the fight towards equality is far from over. We've come a long way and still have a long way to go. A lot of that fight now resides in the hands of politicians. While the majority of our community members support us, there are still antiquated laws that don't protect us from discrimination. There are still people in government positions who may not mean harm, but can cause long-lasting damage to LGBTQ people because they haven't received appropriate training. There is still a dearth of appropriate mental health care services for gay and transgender teens, adults, families, and elders, particularly in smaller communities like Napa. Napa City Council representatives, I commend you for making the first step, because I believe you're going to, of flying the rainbow flag during the month of June. It's a simple and important one. It tells my family, my kids, all the LGBTQ teens and elders that we are visible to you, that you care about diversity and acceptance, and maybe you even believe that diversity is what makes our community beautiful. I sure do. But then I hope you will take the next steps. Ensure non-discrimination policies are in place and enforced. Require LGBTQ training for law enforcement and other city officials. Create a diversity advisory board that includes LGBTQ community members. Fly the rainbow flag all year round on your websites and office doors. We feel visible and heard today, and we are beyond appreciative and empowered by the idea that you could fly that rainbow flag in June. Thank you for your time and support.
Thank you.
Hi, Beth Nelson here. Today I took my daughter to the pro-choice rally downtown, and although I personally never had to worry about an unintentional pregnancy, I am very angry about what is happening in our country, and like most of us parents, I want the best for my child. As we walked down Soskel, little Stella exclaimed, "I like marching with the people." Me too, Stella, trust me. At this point, she has no clue that our lawmakers do not have her best intentions at heart. I hope that these antiquated laws and ways of thinking are relics by the time she is grown, but we must act swiftly. You may be wondering what this has to do with the pride flag. As much as I would love to philosophize and break down social constructs for you, for brevity's sake, I will say that homophobia, transphobia, other gender and orientation phobias, much like the keeping of rights of a person with a womb from having body autonomy, comes from misogyny, hatred towards what is femme, or in my case, hatred towards people who are not behaving the way that they think women should behave. This is why I have so much respect for the trans community, because they are leading the way to teach all of us that we live on a spectrum and that binary is just a construct. Today I'm wearing a t-shirt that was given to me by Stacy Lentz, one of the owners of Stonewall Inn, which I spoke about 2 weeks ago. On the back it reads, "Stonewall means fight back, smash gay oppression." Gay oppression, much like the anti-choice bills by lawmakers who cannot even begin to understand the points of view of a most vulnerable population, stems from a similar machine. The same machine that created misogyny, patriarchy. It is time to understand and embrace that the local is national and that the national is personal. What we do here in our little town does matter, even beyond the national. We are part of the world. The pride flag is a celebration of diversity, and it sends a message for not only LGBTQ equality, but a call for gender equity. And I really want to thank you for making the right decision, as I also believe that is what is going to happen shortly. When we stand up to that which oppresses us, we stand up far beyond just the LGBTQ community. We stand up for all, regardless of gender. So I just wanted to say that across the street after this, we're going to be having some cake that was made by pastry chef Nick at Bouchon. It's a rainbow cake. It's lovely. I hope you can join us. And Jill mentioned that you all were felt a little bit left out because she got the flag and you all didn't. But you're all going to be getting a copy of this book. And I just have the one copy tonight, which Stella has signed for you, Jill. So I'd like to give that to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will share it with my granddaughter. Nico.
Good evening. Thank you for hearing my public comment. I'm going to keep it very brief, as I believe you spoke very eloquently to the topic. My name's Mika Shiner, and I moved to Napa about 4 years ago with my ex. And I was very tentative to come to Napa because I wasn't sure how our LGBTQI family would fit in. I came from the Bay Area. And to be quite honest, to see a flag on the flagpole would tell me and people that come here that we're welcome. And that's hugely important for me. And to raise my daughter here with an LGBTQI family, I would love for her to not have the trepidation and the question mark lingering above her head that I have when I out myself, when I walk through the community. So I really hope that you take the steps to show people like me, my family. I mean, look at how many visible faces came on a Tuesday evening to show that this means something to them and their families. So thank you for taking the time to hear my comment tonight.
Thank you. We'll do it again.
Hey again. Mayor Tekel, members of the City Council, I'm Bailey, and like always, I am stoked. I am stoked to be here today in support of the decision to adopt a resolution to commemorate June as Pride Month by displaying the rainbow flag at City Hall. 2019 is an iconic and historic year for the LGBTQ community, as it marks the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising, known as the birth of the modern LGBTQ movement. Tomorrow, May 22nd, we honor the life and legacy of Harvey Milk, the first openly gay politician in California and a leader of the American Civil Rights Movement. So, what do the Stonewall bar patrons and Harvey Milk have to do with all of us here today? We share a vision of a better tomorrow, filled with hope for equality and a world without hate. The milestones achieved in the LGBTQ movement were made possible because trailblazers who stood up for their rights, who showed us all that people standing up loudly against societal fear, inequality, and prejudice can instigate change. I'm a strong believer in equity and inclusion, and in the worth and dignity of all people, including those who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and every person in between. I believe that our words have more meaning when we combine them with action. Tonight, we need action from you to support this cause. And moving forward, other causes that encourage, empower, and promote an inclusive community. Supporting this resolution to commemorate June as Pride Month and displaying the rainbow flag at City Hall is a significant decision for our Napa community. It paves the way for LGBTQ residents to have their lives recognized and sends a message to all that you care about equity and inclusion as much as we do. Thank you for your support and for joining the ranks of other cities across the country who celebrate its LGBTQ residents every day, especially during Pride Month in June. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kara Mae Woolidge. I live in Napa, and not my normal script. I don't have a script tonight, and I wanted to speak directly to you from my heart. So I am here. I am part of the LGBTQ community. A surprise, and what I say surprise because I might not appear what you think an LGBTQ person looks like, but that's the point. Is that we all look different, and that when I was 35 years old, my heart told me that I was in love with the woman who just spoke. And we made a big, can you blame me? We made a big move tonight. Today, we are going to buy a house in Napa together. And it's just very exciting, and I want to live in a community that supports us. Because we had to take steps when we were together to protect our relationship when the current administration in the White House came in to power, because when we became domestic partners, registered domestic partners, because we didn't know what was going to happen to our rights as a female-female couple. And I want to live in a place that shows me that I'm going to be okay. And I want to live in a place that shows all these people, all these young people who don't know what they are, who don't know what they feel, that it's going to be okay. And that we stand for equality and that we stand for justice. And I want to be in a place that comes together in emergencies like we do, because we've survived fires, we've survived floods. I wasn't here for that one, thank God. We've survived earthquakes, and that is when Napa is at its best, is when we are in a crisis. We come together, we talk, we put our differences aside, and we stand together for what is right. And this is the right thing to do. Because the LGBTQ community is in crisis. Our children are being attacked. It's not a good time, and it's a time for us to stand together with our elected officials and say, this is not what we stand for. This is not our community. And I say thank you. I am hoping that it's going to go the way I think it's going to go, but I believe in you. I know, Mary, you're one of my favorite customers at the farmers market. Liz and Jill, we did leadership together, class 27, best class ever. Doris, you and I worked together, when I was at Napa County Public Health. Scott, I look forward to getting to know you over the next year or so. And that's why I'm speaking to you from my heart, because we can talk like people, and I appreciate your support. And also, can you build the farmers market a permanent structure? Thanks.
Okay, we have Virgil, Peg Maddox, Riley Gilbeck, Julia Allen, and Liam Ramsey.
Hi there. I guess the thing I would like to see is some kind of policy and procedure for getting flags displayed in front of the city hall so that nobody be discriminated against, whether it's the rainbow flag or if any other group has, something going on or a worthy cause, that they would be able to get theirs done too. I don't want to see discrimination against any group, and so I think you should have some kind of written procedure so you don't have to shake the whole government apart to get something like this done. It should be a lot easier, or and the same with other other causes and other people too that want to get things put up. Cinco de Mayo, put a Mexican flag up or whatever. But it shouldn't be this hard. For citizens to do something like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Indeed, we need to.
Hi, I'm Peg Maddox, Executive Director of Napa Learns, proud citizen of Napa, Mayor Jill and City Council members, City Manager. I didn't make it the last two times, but I really wanted to come and just tell a personal story, and I'm nervous because I don't generally talk about myself in public much. But about 15 years ago, my sister told me that she was my brother, and she had been very unhappy all her life, but I always knew she was my brother because she was the tomboy. In fact, how real this is when she was about, I think, 8 years old, my dad was working in the yard. He took off his shirt, and she took off her shirt. And I thought that was perfectly normal. And, of course, my dad screamed at her, but from that time on, we started to really see each other as brother and sister. And so she had a very difficult transition such a long time ago, but he has, pronouns are always a problem, wonderful 3 daughters and 8 grandchildren who took a little bit of time, but they were all a big, happy family. And then in November of this year, my son came to me and said, he's my daughter. And her name is Amy, and she didn't tell me for 6 months because she didn't think I'd accept it. And anybody that knows me knows that I accept anybody. So I was really happy for her, confused, not sure if it was the right decision, but she came for a girls' weekend a couple of weeks ago to Napa, and we did our mani-pedi and all the things we should do as a mother-daughter, and she's so happy, and she never was all her life. So I'm just so glad that you guys are adopting this because I'm not a typical activist for this kind of thing, but it's really important to me. And I want to thank Kaiser because she's in Irvine, and she works for a game company, so they accept her very well. She translates video games from Japanese to English. Great job. They love her. But Kaiser has helped her with counseling to help her discover this, with all the hormones, all the therapy, everything that she needs, and we'll plan to continue to support her as she needs her transition to be completed. So I just want to give them some thanks, and thank you for doing this, and thank you all for coming because I think it's really amazing towns that we live in.
Thank you, Patty.
Mayor and esteemed council, my name is Riley Gilbert, and I'm here to first applaud you for bringing apps in to take and honor these people, marginalized groups of all kinds. I also know what it's like to be marginalized as a supporter of the president and a Republican. I am bullied every day. As are the homeless, as are the mental health clients and foster kids. I would ask whether or not you would honor the Napa Republican group or any of the groups I mentioned above with a flag. If so, where does that end? A better idea, I believe, would be to proudly fly the American flag, which represents all of us, LGBT or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Riley.
Good evening. My name is Julia Allen, and I'm a business owner here, Folia Design. Hello, Mayor Tekel and City Council members and manager. I also want to state that I am a heterosexual woman, a parent, and a community member here in Napa. In 2015, I believe that's when we finished the redesign of the City of Napa logo, which I was the designer for. And what I bring that up is at the time when we started it, it was before the earthquake happened. The project was put on hold because obviously we had to focus on the city and repair work of it. When we refocused back on the branding project, it was, we assessed all the values of what our city was about and looking at the past and the future, what we wanted to mold our community around. I bring that up because as a visual designer, imagery is everything. Our flag, logos, branding, it says a lot. And looking at what we're all holding here in support of what I hope to see happen, in our community, I am a huge supporter of my LGBTQ family and friends, and brought my son. He's going to speak after me. But I also am looking at our youth to see how we can support them and their families and how we can just be one great city and community here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Liam Ramsey. I am 13 and I live here in the city of Napa. It is important to me to raise the rainbow flag in the month of June to show support and to give courage to those in our community who have or have not come out about being LGBTQ. I also have many friends who are very good people and that have come out about being LGBT LGBTQ and are very supported and happy for it. It would be awesome if the city supported everyone in the LGBTQ community by raising the flag in the month of June. Thank you.
Thank you. Joelle Gallagher, Rosemarie Vertalo, Earl Craigie, Ricky Hurtado, and Tracy Crumpin.
Good evening, Mayor Tekel and council members. Thank you for putting a resolution together, for directing staff, and thank you to Steve Potter as well. I just wanted to quickly say, you did have a speaker that talked a little bit about possibly putting together a policy, and I think many of you are in receipt of the Calistoga policy on flying non-governmental flags. The great template for that, so the city might want to consider something like that so that we can fly flags that resonate with our values as a city. I'm visiting you tonight as an ally of the LGBTQ community and want to thank you and endorse the resolution you have before you. One of the most important reasons to fly this flag is, as many people have already said, is to make our LGBTQ community visible. Our current federal administration has really emboldened people to express their hate and toward those they see as other. And this is easily done when you literally do not see people or the symbols that represent them. Flying the rainbow flag is our way of saying we see you, we acknowledge you, we value you, you are safe and welcome here. We know from research that adverse childhood experiences or trauma can have a significant impact on the long-term health and well-being of our entire population. These experiences include community conditions such as the safety, belonging, and inclusion or lack thereof. The health and well-being of our children and families depends upon our ability as a community to respect and embrace diversity. Our diversity is something to be celebrated, and raising the flag is one small but powerful way to express who we are and what we value. I'm excited to think about what Napa will look like in June, as rainbow flags fly and children point and ask their parents what the flag represents. Red for life, orange for healing, yellow for sunlight, green for nature, blue for harmony, and purple for spirit. This flag will fly as a reminder that everyone in our community is loved and cherished.
Dear Mayor, City Council, I would like to address you today with regards to the display of the rainbow flag. This vote in action, as many have said before, is very important to recognize how far our LGBTQ community has come in its fights for civil rights, and it's still not over. This action will further demonstrate that all members, including our LGBTQ community, feel like they belong in Napa. This is a symbol to heal for past wounds, a symbol of progress. It also demonstrates that our beloved city stands with our LGBTQ friends and family. As a community leader, as an ally, as a resident of our community, I'm standing up today to use my voice and to urge you to vote in support of this display in celebration of Pride Month. Thank you.
Hello, Mayor and City Council. I did have something prepared, but I think I'm just going to speak from my heart as well. I'm Rosemarie Vertullo. I am the founder of the chapter of P-Flag for Napa. I am a current board member and former president. We do have a new president now, and she was not able to make it this evening. However, I'll speak for her, and I'll speak for our whole organization, and especially for the parents and the allies of LGBTQ. This flag means so much to us. I'm the proud mother of a gay man who came out to me over 20 years ago. And 20 years ago, we would not be able to do this. And I'm so proud that I am living in a community where we're able to fly this flag very, very proudly. And I hope that this is going to be the year that we do it and keep doing it, and keep doing it each June and July and August and September and so on. I think we should be flying this flag forever because our LGBTQ brothers, sisters, trans people really need the support of towns like Napa. And I thank you very much, and I'm sure that this resolution is going to go through. Thank you.
Tracy Crumpin, 2651 Adrian Street. This is a long time coming, and I'm going to try not to cry, but there you go. Thank you.
Come on, girl.
But
Some things are guaranteed.
Exactly. But it really means a lot to all of us. And I look at City Hall as the people's house. So to fly the flag over the people's house during this month, showing that we're inclusive, that we care, that we have your back no matter what, means a lot to all of us. So as someone who actually left the LDS Church because of their support of Prop 8, I thank you for taking this up in your consideration, and let's pass this resolution. Thank you.
Earl?
Okay.
Okay, I'll call the remaining cards as.
Are you Earl? Okay, Earl's coming.
Okay. While he comes up, Ian Stanley Posadas, Daisy Zamora, Carol. Oh gosh, I do this wrong every time. Carol. Carol Richard. Richard. I've read the first time. Okay. Elba Gonzalez Maves, and Colin Pethram.
Hi, my name is Earl Craigie, and I'm on the board of P-Flag Napa. And just a little background, I grew up on the East Coast near Boston. I had over 500 in my class. In high school, it was over 2,000. I didn't know one single LGBTQ person in the town, in my school, or anything. But growing up, I learned a lot. I had a niece, I had two nieces, and now I have a niece and a nephew. And when my first marriage, my sister-in-law was in the service. They found out she was lesbian, and they kicked her out with a dishonorable discharge. We've been coming a long way over the years. I've learned so much since I've been here in Napa and got involved with PFLAG. It's so important for people to understand what this world is about. And I just totally support the flying of our flag in June, and maybe the other months too. But I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Tekel and council members and Steve. City Manager Steve, excuse me. You all know that I work with hundreds and hundreds of LGBTQ people throughout the community, so I won't give you much about the organization that I participate in and lead. I want you to think of a time where you felt vulnerable, where you weren't sure if you were safe. You probably looked for something, a symbol of something that let you know you're going to be okay. And for LGBTQ people, every time we meet someone new or we're in a new environment, we have a split second to decide if we can be our full selves or if we have to watch our back. And 6 years ago, a large number of people in this community came to these chambers to ask you to put up the rainbow flag. And we had thousands of signatures of support and lots of voices who were resonating with that hope that our government, as many people eloquently already shared, what that would mean for them. So I too hope that you're going to vote yes on doing this tonight because of what it would mean for people. We've come a long way in the last 6 years, but even as you heard in the report from City Manager Steve, that we're concerned about the safety of the flag. So imagine what that means for vulnerable people in the community. If you're worried about someone tearing down a flag, what about tearing down the people here? So that symbol means even more. I'd like to thank the advocates Anne, Joelle, Beth, Elba, and Jenny, and any others who are involved in bringing this up again, because it still matters. And as my mom said, actions speak louder than words. She still says. I wanted to read something from a young person who's on our youth leadership team. Her name is Alexia Gomez Aguilar. She's 19 years old. She couldn't be here tonight. She said, being a member of many communities has taught me that the struggles we face can be worked on, but we can't wait around standing for someone to do something. We have to start acting on the change we want to see. Being a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, I want to contribute. And if this is small contribution of my writing, I can't be happier to do it. My dream is to unite the many communities I'm part of, because a world in unity is a more peaceful world. The flag is a symbol of representation, and in this day and age, without representation, there is no awareness. That is important to me because I believe that with awareness, people can educate themselves a little more, leading them to be more comprehensive and supportive of our community. As a Latinx, queer, Napa Youth Leadership Team member, having the city take a big step into making people like me feel included proves to me that our existence matters here. Putting the flag up is saying Napa believes in unity, love, and community. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Daisy Zamora. I'm short. I just want to start off. Thank you. I want to start off by saying thank you for being here and listening, and how much this means to me personally. I am a youth. I grew up and have been raised in Napa, born here, and there is a big fear every time I have to come out. And being here today, I'm emotional because it's so amazing being able to see the Napa community be here, standing strong, and there's so much more, like many being here, supportive on the outside, and there is that fear every time I have to come out, and I don't know if it's safe for me to come out or not. And Napa raising the flag June, and hopefully more months, but June, it's that big step that I am okay here, that Napa has my back, that I'm being represented, seen, and I am wanted here. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, Steve. I just thought I'd join that. City Manager Steve Potter. I think as the evening progresses, there's this sense of community. And, it sounds funny when we're like, Steve, but that's it, right? It's those little things that brings us closer. And I think tonight is just one of those moments for here in Napa that is building that community. Yes, we've had natural disasters and that brought us together, but this is also a moment in our time as a community to see and look at this opportunity, and you heard us, and you've been listening also for a long time. It's not just, we're a group here in Napa, but it's representative of an entire community all over the world. This is international. This is happening here, but this is also a global effort. And on behalf of a community, also of people of color, as people enter our community, come and visit our community, are here in our community, can feel welcome as well. And that our family and friends that come from near and far can also feel welcome when they step into Napa. And today it just feels that very precious moment that just feels like we're in it here together, and there's something just truly amazing about that. As an immigrant, and it'll be 25 years this coming October, it feels really nice to feel part of a home. And these are the kind of moments that make me feel part of a home, especially when it's so personal to my family, to also the youth, and to continue to cherish that, and that we never forget our history. It's really important to never forget our history, and there's a lot of that in the room. That's going to also tell our youth that this wasn't just a one-day moment. It was years and decades of struggle. But we're here to celebrate, which I think also is going to happen. And just really excited about that. And just thank you for being an example to the rest of us and being in your position to take this on, and that it's a really great example to our youth and our future generations. And just really glad to be part of our Napa community today. Really, really happy. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Teckle and City Council members. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I really want to acknowledge the people who have spoken before me, because I think people have really captured the importance of the flying of the rainbow flag on City Council, on the City Hall. And not only is it important for people who live in Napa, I'm here this evening on behalf of myself, Colin Petheram, but also on behalf of my husband, Kartik Patel. And it's important for everybody in Napa to feel included, and seeing that rainbow flag on City Hall send us that sign. But perhaps also importantly, for visitors from all over the world, I think last year there were 4 million visitors coming to Napa Valley. For them, those visitors to see the rainbow flag flying on City Hall really sends them a positive message that this is an open and welcoming community, that they will have a positive experience here, and hopefully tell others to come and visit us also. So thank you for the consideration of this decision, of this item, and I'm sure you'll make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again. I don't mean to steal your line. So here we are 20 years later. This is great. I have kudos to everybody who spoke. Peg, your story was just incredible. Thank you for bringing that to us. And Mayor Teckle, council, staff, Chief Potter, Steve, I have a question on the intent of the resolution. This is the first time I've heard it when you read it just a while ago. And it said June of 2019, we will perhaps fly the flag, depending on the vote tonight. So is the intent that it will be flown every June, not just June 2019?
Okay, just once.
Just once, I get to answer. Because of the short timeline that we had to prepare the report for tonight, we wrote it so that it's for this June of 2019. However, council has the discretion to ask us to go back and come back with a policy and a recommendation for the future.
Thank you for that clarification. So my request would be just that of the mayor and the council tonight, is to ensure and to solidify the future of the rainbow flag being flown over this beautiful city hall every June from now into perpetuity. Thank you guys so much.
You've got a certain rhythm there that just sort of... Yeah. Do you have any more cards? Is there anyone here who wishes to speak? Stand up and get in line. Okay, Bernie's going to be our last.
How lucky am I? Madam Mayor and City Council members, I just want to come here as an ally and friends to many in the LGBTQ community. As an immigrant, I chose to wear a uniform because I strongly feel about the freedoms that this country provides, and this resolution are in line with that freedom. The freedom to feel safe, accepted, and seen. So I just encourage you to please accept this resolution and fly the flag. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're done with the public comment, and Councilwoman Luros.
Oh, goodness. I didn't realize I'd be first. I want to thank everybody for coming. We rarely have a meeting where the audience is so happy and festive. Most people are usually pretty mad at us. And everybody spoke from the heart tonight, and that's appreciated. It's
both exciting that we're doing this on the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. It's also kind of depressing that it's been 50 years and we still have a long way to go. Equality is very important to me. I'm an ally. I have gay family members and friends, and I can't wait to share with them what Napa is doing, and that we're taking a big visible step to show our support of the LGBTQ plus community. The key for me really for this is visibility. When I first read the staff report, I was kind of nervous that we were not going to be able to find a way to do this, and I'm so grateful to the city manager, to Steve, for finding a way to do this. And really, I want people to feel accepted in our community, and I want people to know that our community is inclusive. So I'm really glad that we found a way to do this. As Elba said, we're building community tonight. My hope and suggestion is that we celebrate the hoisting of the flag as a community together and in some kind of festive way. Maybe we can have a little event of some sort when we do it. Let's fly the flag and have a party. And let's also direct staff to come back with a policy and procedure for flags, and let's make this an annual thing.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Alessio. Okay, ditto that. Thank you, Councilman LaRose. Thank you, everybody. This is, I'm glad Tishy's right here next to the rainbow flag, because I may cry too. Whew. Pull it together. Okay. Back in 2008, I had the honor and pleasure to work with community in the Napa AIDS Walk and also the Napa Valley Academy Awards benefit. And it was to raise money for our community, for those with HIV and AIDS, but it was a platform where people can come together, where people can be recognized, as we say, visible, celebrated, honored, valued. And we came together and we marched together and we came together and we partied together. And I made so many friends over those years, 10 years. I see, the Fullers here, Tom and Kelly. I see Rob Dowdy. I see so many friends that were part of that. And I'm really just so proud of each of you, of our community, of where we've come from. Being a Napa girl, I know I lived through the discrimination, through the narrow-mindedness of our community. And it just makes me so happy to see that we are just evolving, that we are getting smarter, that we are becoming more compassionate, and that here we are here today. It's really, I know, it feels long overdue. And then again, thank you all for speaking. Thank you, our city manager, for finding a solution. Really wanted to see this occur. I also would like to see, a ceremonial poll maybe, so we can continue with other flags, recognize other flags for folks, and have a policy and procedure regarding that. Also, I do believe I know we have cultural training for our city employees. The LGBTQ Connection has a great training program. I know they're offering a training next week, and information can be found out on their website on that. But I've taken it. It's excellent. I love to see our staff receive that, starting with our police, fire, public safety, the frontline staff would be fantastic. I did write something that might sound redundant, but I want to share it because I was watching the videos, the compilation that Beth put together, and that she tagged many of us on Facebook. It's really good. And I got to watch all the testimonies, public speaking from last time. So I'm just going to read this. It is short. We agree we value the strength and enrichment of diversity and inclusion. We value equality and equity. We value the inherent dignity of each person, and that we are here to serve all in our community, especially the vulnerable and marginalized. Yet many in our community, our neighbors and family members, are marginalized due to ongoing oppression, abuse, discrimination, and shaming in our community. As leaders, and public servants, we need to take this stand today for equality and equity, to simply raising the rainbow flag at City Hall high and proud for all to see. It is time to celebrate and elevate. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gentry.
Wow. It is great to see so many people here and to see people with such a positive message. And I heard everybody saying over and over in different ways, stand up for all. And Bailey, you said stand up for every person. And equality is critical. Equality is absolutely critical. Being discriminated against is a terrible place. I grew up in 30 foster homes. I was spit upon when I was homeless. I was abused, and I've had most of the bones in my body broken. 5 concussions before I was 17. So it's a terrible place to be bullied. It's a terrible place to be abused. But I ask this question, what would be our policy for other groups to get a flag? Would we want to fly, because this is a social issue? So sticking to social issues, do we want to fly a Democrat flag? Do we want to fly a Republican flag? What about Planned Parenthood? What about pro-life? Pro-gun rights or anti-gun rights? How do we develop a policy that represents the whole city? Because this is a social issue. And we're a city government, and as a city government, mostly what I've been on the council 2 years or more, and mostly we're talking about parks and sidewalks and streets and laws and rules and things like that. We're not talking at this level about social issues. So as a people group, you are critical. You matter greatly to me, and I know half the people in this room. I've worked with you, I've taught with you, I've trained with you. My goodness, Ian Stanley, you were on my TV show the night you came out, and your family didn't even know. You announced that you were gay on my live TV show. So, you know, I'm a person, I'm a foster mom. I've had over 200 teen boys in my house, and several of those boys have been gay. So I'm a lover of people, a supporter of people, an engager of people, and a friend to everybody here. My question is, what would the policy be? How do we make a policy that is fair and equitable to everybody that lives in this city? As Bailey said, how do we represent every person? No flag we put up represents every person except the flag, the United States flag of America. That represents every person. Now, if we make a celebratory flagpole, I love that idea. How do we make a policy of which flags to hang on the celebratory flagpole? So I think that's the question that you guys need to help us with at the city level, because any flag we put up is going to have some people who love it and some people who don't. There are going to be haters on all sides of the coin. So that's my question. How do we make a policy that reflects and represents our community? I love the idea of Cinco de Mayo and honoring our Hispanic population. Do we do a flag that honors the Italian population, the Chinese who helped to build Napa and the railroads? Where do we draw the line? How do we put up the flags for our city that represent the unique diversity that makes Napa Napa? And as far as the LGBTQ in this room, I love you guys. You guys rock. You guys have banded together. You guys had a cause. You've stepped out and you've marched forward. You're human beings and you're worthy of love and respect. And every person has a right to live without being bullied or marginalized. And every person should be trumpeted and respected. And so I respect each and every one of you here tonight. Woohoo!
Vice Mayor Sedgley.
I wasn't going to go there, but a policy for me is we would never fly anything that is divisive or hatred. We just don't do that. That's what we do. If you want to fly something that displays that, we won't do it. That's just pretty simple. My dear mother, my sweet mother, one of the values that she instilled in us, and it's a simple value, and it's do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's pretty simple. When we stood up at the start of this meeting, we stood up together and we stood and pledged to the flag, and the last words in that is liberty and justice for all, and that's what we're doing. And if there's no more comments.
I think there's just a couple. Thank you all. It's been a journey for me because I've been here for 20 years. Some of you walked with me. Hi, Carol.
I do.
Had coffee with me, had discussions with me. Hi, Josie. And it's been such a path for me. I see Ian, I don't know if anybody else, you have such an amazing style. You have such an ability to talk to people. And I remember when you said to me once, if you have a rainbow pencil in your office and somebody walks in that's gay, they're going to feel a little more comfortable. And I thought, well, that's easy. But you help make those transitions. So I thank you. I see Jim Gunther in the back of the room. Hi, Jim. You're amazing, and I have enjoyed getting to know you and experiencing what a wonderful addition you are to life in Napa. It's just been amazing, and to my growth. Y'all want to hug you. I have to have a Jim Gunther hug because they're pretty amazing and spiritual and real and Tracy and your growth and I can remember she felt just as passionate about 10 years ago and she cried at ABC as we discussed her path, but to see people that have that strong feeling made me go further on the spectrum of where I wanted to go. Or thought I needed to go. Last year, I proudly was in Boston, and we were in the Gay Pride. All the mayors around the United States were in the Gay Pride parade, and it was a wonderful moment. And so I am totally willing and ready to make this step to fly the flag over City Hall. It's exciting. So I know you're married. Do you have a question or a?
I just had a quick comment. Councilmember Gentry asked, how do we create a policy that represents everyone? And I think it's really important that we look at what other communities have done. A lot of other communities have done this. It's completely doable under the government speech doctrine. I would encourage us to have that conversation and let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you're afraid of. Personally, I have no problem with flying the Planned Parenthood flag, but I understand that that's not for everybody. I don't know how you can say you matter to me and not want to show that we're an inclusive community. This flag is about inclusion, not exclusion. So let's have that conversation.
Perfect. All right, Scott.
Well, I move we adopt a resolution commemorating June 2019 as Pride Month and authorize the city manager to display the rainbow flag at City Hall in celebration of Pride Month.
Into perpetuity?
Well, I can add in perpetuity, but I'm hoping in a couple of years this City Hall will be gone and we'll have a new City Hall to fly it over. But yeah, how we ever word that out, in perpetuity. But clearly it'll be a future council's decision, but we'll do well while we're here.
Okay. And can we also add to that we will move forward with a ceremonial flag and create a policy and procedure around that for future requests?
I think it's more, let's research the idea
of
a community poll, because I think that's what they call them, and research what other cities have done.
If I could make a procedural recommendation, it would be if council could take action on the staff's recommendation, and then if there's additional direction to staff, to take a separate action for direction to staff for follow-up items.
So I'll stand by my original motion.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
The motion passes. And was there an additional direction we wanted to give staff to come back with information on a ceremonial poll
Yes.
and policies and procedures that that we may need to review as we move forward?
And can we also ask staff to report back what we're doing for cultural training around the LGBTQ for city employees?
Yeah, I can. The email that was sent to me today has been distributed to council members as well as the department heads, so it's available.
Thank you.
At this point.
And so we're going to take a look at a ceremonial poll or community poll.
We're going to get information about
Get
what
information.
where they are, what kind of what I've read Calistoga's, but it kind of leaves everything up to the city council. So that one, I think one with a more direction. I think some of the things that were said tonight about community.
So report back on policy, procedures, a community poll for council to make a decision.
And when we might raise the flag, so as Councilmember Lewis suggested, we have a little celebration there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Okay.
But the motion tonight was to raise the flag out front starting June 1 on existing poles.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. You can. I've heard there's a party. Beth, thanks for the invitation and thanks for the book. I have a granddaughter that's 2.5, and I look forward to sharing this with her. So thank you. It's very hard. Well, a 5-minute break, and we'll be back. We have another item. Thank you.